So we're here talking about mental health, and I've got Kim with me. So Kim, just introduce yourself to us.
Hi, yeah, I'm Kim. I'm married to Dave, and I've been going to FBC for the last 7 years. I've since May time started working for Mind in Berkshire, which is a mental health charity associated with Oxfordshire Mind, and I'm one of their wellbeing workers. And we provide wellbeing support for Wokingham residents in the area, which is amazing. And yeah, that's me.
Cool. So you use that word well-being quite a lot there, and we're talking about mental health. Can you just explain, what do we mean by mental health? What do we mean by well-being?
Yeah, so mental health is something that we all have, a bit like physical health. It's our kind of sort of emotional and spiritual resilience, which enables us to be able to enjoy life, but also survive the kind of disappointment and struggles and pain that we go through sometimes as well. It's kind of like a positive state of well-being, which and kind of fundamentally that we believe in ourselves and others, kind of dignity and self-worth, sort of really. But it's on a spectrum, so sometimes we have like really good, positive sort of mental health, and then sometimes we have kind of ill health, and we can move along that kind of spectrum sort of at any time.
Cool. And there's a whole bunch of like mental health conditions. Can you give us a few examples?
Yeah, of course. So there's some, well, 1 in 4 of us kind of experience sort of mental health problems at different times, and there's much more sort of common problems like anxiety, panic, sort of low mood to depression, and then there's sort of more rarer conditions like bipolar and schizophrenia. But there's a whole array of sort of different things that people experience that we often don't know about.
Cool. So you said 1 in 4 of us will experience a mental health condition. What can we do if we're struggling with our mental health, or if we know somebody who is?
Yeah, I think it's really important to talk about it as much as possible. Sometimes it can feel like there's an uncomfortable sort of elephant in the room and we don't want to name it, but actually just opening up that conversation, just providing a space where someone can talk. Often we want to talk and we don't want to hear people's responses back, but just having that space can really help just allow people to make that first step to get support. Where possible, and encourage people or yourself to step out and contact your GP practice to see if there's any other support available for you, and go to, if you're going to look up information, sort of make sure you're going to the right places, so NHS website, the Mind website, to kind of look at different self-help kind of tools that you can do. There's surprisingly quite a lot we can do for ourselves, which is quite difficult sort of sometimes.
Can you give us an example? So say someone's struggling with anxiety, what's some sort of things that they can do?
So I think sort of particularly with anxiety, it's really sort of helpful to think about what's keeping those sort of problems going. So for some people we worry a lot, so trying to manage those worries, give yourself space to kind of acknowledge them, because it's okay to have worries, because that's normal, but actually then sort of spend time thinking through those worries, at a certain time during the day maybe, and kind of work through those worries. Are they hypothetical? Often we worry a lot about things that aren't sort of concrete and aren't happening at the moment. We think a lot about the future, so and that takes up a lot of our time. So think about those worries. Are they concrete or are they hypothetical worries? Try and, if you can, let go of the ones that are hypothetical and focus on the kind of the real worries at the moment that maybe we can do something about. And around sort of anxiety, there's different kind of skills that you can sort of develop as well. So things like breathing exercises can really help if we're starting to feel overwhelmed. There's something called box breathing, where you just breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, breathe out again for 4, and hold for 4. And that can just give you enough time to let your kind of anxiety start to come down again. And with anxiety as well, grounding exercises can work really well, particularly if you're starting to experience panic. And that's really about just anchoring yourself back down to the world again. So for some people, they will take their shoes and socks off and walk on the grass, and feel the kind of feeling under their feet. It might be just stopping and trying to think about what are sort of 4 things that you can see around you, and really focus in on them to just draw all your attention to that, and that can just help sort of reground you.
And what can I do if a friend or a family member is struggling? Often I don't know what to say or what to do, and I don't want to make it worse. What some advice could you give for me in those situations?
Yeah, I think it's important you look after yourself if you're feeling that way. So, again, acknowledge those feelings and be kind to yourself. We often worry about saying something wrong and making something worse, but actually saying nothing at all is often the least helpful thing we can do. So yeah, just be there for that person, offer them support and ask them what would be helpful for them, because every person's situation is different and they're the best experts within themselves.
Excellent. Kim, thank you so much for taking some time out to chat with us. We really want to encourage you to check out those resources on the Mind website, mind.org. And if you are struggling, go and have a conversation with your GP.